This is going to be a video on how to subnet packet tracer 17.8.2. I'm making this video because a lot of students have been reporting that they're having difficulty with the concept of subnetting. We're going to be doing this throughout CCNA2. So even though you might not fully understand it now, you will fully understand it by the time you're done with CCNA2. Whenever we work with IP addresses or subnetting, we always start with our subnetting chart right here. And to build the chart, you start with 1 and then you just double it and double it and double it and double it until you get to 128. You'll notice that this is 8 places, so these each represent 1 bit in the 8-bit octet. This gives us our magic number, and remember, our magic number tells us how many hosts we have per subnet. And remember that you have to take, in this example, 128 minus 2 means you would have 126 hosts per network. The bottom number is the subnet mask number. That's the number that you're actually going to type in the computer or the router to make the subnet work. The 3 formulas that you need to use for subnetting are included up here in the upper left-hand corner of the Excel sheet. But for simple subnetting programs like this one, where we have a /24 network, it means we're only using the last octet for our subnetting. And in that case, we don't even need to worry about these formulas. We can simply use the chart to do our subnetting. Another rule of subnetting to remember is when you subnet an address, we're making this one address into, or this one network into 4 networks in this example. You always are going to start with the subnet that has the highest number of hosts and work your way down to the subnet that has the least number of hosts. That's a rule that you should always follow. In this case, we have 4 networks. We have a staff network that's going to be 100 hosts, sales network with 50 hosts, IT department with 25 hosts, and a guest subnet with 25 hosts. And so when we look at our chart, our magic number minus 2 gives us how many hosts this subnet would make. Remember that when we start out the /24, that means that all of these bits in the last octet are set to 0. The /24 represents 24 bits that are turned on, and that's these first 3 octets. The last octet, they're all turned off, so they're all 0. So to divide this network into subnetworks, we need to change these zeros to a 1. So you need a subnet that holds 100 hosts. So you look at your chart here, which one of those numbers would give us 100 hosts? 64 isn't large enough. 128 would give us 126 hosts, which is large enough. So we would change that 0 bit to a 1. And what that does is it gives us a couple things. It gives us our magic number. And our magic number not only tells us our number of hosts or number of addresses per network, it also tells us the start of the next network. So if we come down here and go to the next network, we're starting with 0. We add 128 to 0. We come up with the next network we use will be 128. We can do the same for the 50 hosts. If we look at our chart, 32 isn't large enough, 64 is. So to make a subnet with 50 hosts, we would change that 0 to a 1. And what that does, it gives us our new magic number, which means we would add 64 to 128, which would give us 192. And then we go to the next network that we're going to make. And that's going to be 25 hosts. And again, we look at our number. 32 is the one that would give us 25 hosts. And so we add 192 plus 32, would give us 224. And then lastly, we need another 25 host network. So we would add 32 to the 224, and that would give us 256. We can't have 256. 255 is the largest number we can have in network addresses. So in that case, we know that we're done, because at this point we've used up the whole 192.168 network. And let me change this, because this isn't matching the lab, but it wouldn't have to actually match the lab, because these first three numbers would never change. So even if the lab number changed, all you would need to worry about are the actual IP addresses themselves. The next thing we need to do is just some very simple math. So our starting network address is 0. We add 1 to our starting network address. That gives us our first host address. Our broadcast address is 1 less than the next network. So we just subtract 1. That gives us our broadcast address. That's the address that computers or routers will send to whenever they want to send to all the computers or all the devices on our network. We subtract 1 again to get our last host address. So in this case, this is why you have a -2 for your magic number, because you can't use the network address and you can't use the broadcast address for devices. You can only use these addresses for the devices. And in this case, we would have 126 addresses that would be available to assign to devices. You would do the same thing for the next network. You add 1, and you subtract 1, and you subtract another 1, and we just keep on doing that. Very simple math. And 192 plus 1 is 193. And then 254 and 225. So this gives us the 4 subnets that we need. If we want to, it's a good idea to identify the subnets. So now you'll notice that I've done a little formatting here. I've moved my subnet identifiers over here. I've changed the color in the fill so that each network stands out a little bit better. So now that we've got our starting and ending network addresses, and we filled in our first and last host addresses, the other thing we need to do is, in this example, the other thing I want to mention is I did not fill these down because these numbers never change. We started with 192.168.0, and when you're subnetting, you can never, you only have what you started with to work with. In this case, it was the last octet. So the 192.168.0 never changes, and also the subnet mask here never changes. So I'm not going to draw those down either. All we're going to worry about is the IP address in the 8 octet and the subnet mask number in the last octet. So in this case, we started with a 0, but we subnetted it. And so now, instead of a 0, we have to put in, if you look at your chart here, we have to make that a 128. And that's how the computer or the router knows that this 192.168.0.0 network has been subnetted into 2 networks at this point. The same thing here. We started with a 0, now we have to change it to a 192, which makes it match this network that's the size of 64. And the same thing here. We went to a 32 size network. To make the router understand that, or the computer understand that, we have to put in the subnet mask of 224. And the same thing would be used on the guest network when that finally gets implemented. And so now the next thing you need to do is to make your life a little easier would be to write down the devices that you're going, or the interfaces that you're going to assign these addresses to. If we look at the packet tracer file and look at the topology for the packet tracer, we can see that the staff network, if you hover over the triangle, you should be able to get the interface identifier. And in this case, the staff is G00 and the sales is G01 and the host network is G02. So if we go back to here, it's also a good idea to assign, either pick the top address or the first address for your gateway address. Normally, I like to use the highest address for the gateway address. So in this case, we would put in our identifier. This is going to be G00 on the router. And then for the sales network, it's going to be G01. And for the IT department, it's going to be G02. And then the guest network's not used, so we don't need to worry about that one. And then for the computers, I'm just going to use the lowest address, which would be that one there. And that one there. And that one there. So now that you have those all identified, it'd be a simple matter to configure the routers and the computers with these addresses that you need. On the switches, we did the lab in class last Monday, and they're not grading for one way or the other. They don't specify if you should use the highest or the lowest. But if you assign an address in between the 1 and the 126 to the switch will work just fine and you'll get credit for it. So that's basically, it's just that simple to do the subnetting. Let me know if you have any questions regarding the lab. Otherwise, that's the end of the video. Remember, next Monday, there's no class. The written final and the course feedback are due, and then we will pick up class again in 2 Mondays from now.